It's been a good 2 weeks for books. I've gotten some excellent deals, and I'm going to show you some of them. I'm going to begin first with, well, a non-book, an action figure. As you can see, this is the Superman Christopher Reeve action figure. I didn't know there was one until recently, and when I saw it, I got it. It's hard to believe that this film, Christopher Reeves, is almost 40 years old. When it comes to casting, and Reeve as Superman, script and plot, which was Mario Puzo, the author of The Godfather, had a hand in it. Directing, story, and musical score, I don't think it's been surpassed by any of the superhero films. And I think it's the best of all of them. Two of my favorite scenes of this film are when Clark Kent reveals himself to the world as Superman, when Lois Lane is hanging from the helicopter on the high-rise, and she falls, and he catches her, and she tells him, he tells her, "I've got you," and she says, "You got me, who's got you?" And then there's this wonderful scene when him and Lois go on a date, and they're flying through New York City at night, with that beautiful score by John Williams, and it's Can You Read My Mind? Certainly romance is something that none of the superhero films have been able to capture well. Granted, romance is hard to do. But this, again, is one of my favorite films, along with Apocalypse Now, The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and Her Lover, La Notte, or The Night, Godard's Breathless, The Mission, Paris, Texas, Wings of Desire. It's just a movie that I saw it decades later at a re-release in a movie theater, one of these old movie theaters which still had the curtains. And it still worked, which I don't know if you can really say that about many of the overflow of superhero films that we have. Some of them just came out a few years ago and they already feel quite dated. But to be granted, many of them are not that great. They're okay. Some of them are terrible. And a few of them are very good. But of course, superhero films, based on comics, have to be judged as movies. Even if they take liberties from the story, that's fine, as long as it works on film. And this one just works wonderful. This here is a set, not complete, of Robert Louis Stevenson. It's a Scribner edition from 1920. I like Stevenson. We know him from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I got this set for $6. About maybe 15, 20 years ago, this would have been quite expensive. But times have changed. Books aren't that important anymore. And so I got these again for under $7. These have remarkable stories. The Body Snatcher, which was made into a film, I think it was Boris Karloff, and it's exactly that, about a man who steals bodies. And The Suicide Club. Suicide Club is a club of people who want to kill themselves, but they can't do it themselves, so they have a dinner party and someone will pick randomly who's going to knock off one of the others. Stevenson is just a remarkable writer. So when I got these, I just had to get them. Now, I've did an earlier video where I showed my Valentina books. This is another deal that I got. If you want to see my video discussing these, just feel free to do so. But this is one of the other buys that I got. Beautiful set of books. Now, let's get to the other books. I saw this at the comic shop, Samurai. 2 different covers. And by a French team of De Giorgio and Genet. A comic book reader, fellow comic book reader that I know, recommended it. He said the artwork is great in this book. And he's right. I don't know who these people are. And it's a Japanese story. There's a Ronin who's involved in the story. And it's 2 issues. And I'm continuing with my, well, I'll just show you here. And here are some of the other books. Here we go. My collection of Crossed. This is Cross 100 with a homage to Star Wars. I'm not sure how George Lucas would be pleased with this. Cross Badlands, number 13, number 29, number 42, and it came with this little book. Oh, poor Tinkerbell. Number 50. '67. Oh. Gravity. Excuse me. Alrighty then. This is number, can't make it out there, 82. Oh, it's one that fell. Number 75. I know there's been Marvel Zombies, and I wonder if DC ever acquired this company and there was a DC Crossed. Could you imagine the possibilities of that? Where all the superheroes are infected and maybe the villains are not. Certainly the Joker would question, and people say I'm crazy? Again, this comic is not for everybody, but I very much enjoy it. It's 28. Okay. And I picked up these in different book comic shops. This is the Moon Knight 1. Number 2. In one of the comic chats, I commented that Bill Sienkiewicz and Doug Moench's run was some of the best. Actually, were the best Bill Knight runs. And someone from one of these YouTube shows questioned that. They said, well, I'm not sure about that. And I wonder if they're referring to this run. But I doubt very much, no matter how good the artist may be to this book, there's no way he's going to surpass Bill Sienkiewicz. It's number 5, number 6. Again, I got these rather cheap. I look for deals. 8, 9, 10, 11, and Gravity. 12. And I think the one that fell is issue number 13. In addition to that, I also got these novels here. This here is Dance to the Music of Time by Anthony Powell. This is the 2nd volume. 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 Powell's name came to me when I read the essays. Well, he's written many essays, but I have a few of his collection of essays by Anthony Burgess, the author of Clockwork Orange, who is a superb essayist. And he recommended this series. Sarge T is the only YouTuber that I've come across who's read these series. And a friend of mine has also read it. It's basically friends, high school friends in England. And from the 1920s, and that friendship continues through 30s to 40s and the 50s. So we go through the war. I started book 1, and it's excellent. And Sarge T is quite literary. He's read many, many novels. So I always enjoy his channel, and especially when he mentions books, non-comic books. Okay, now, the other stuff that I got was, I got these for cheap. I'm not going to show them all, it's way too many. This is the Massive, which first appeared, I think, in Dark Horse Presents. I got this for $15, issues 1 through 30, and the Dark Horse Presents. I read the first few issues, and I enjoyed them. And the writer, Brian Wood. So again, I got these for rather cheap. And that's what I basically look for. I look for bundles or complete sets, and if I can get it for an expected price, I'll get them. Then if I don't like them, then I don't feel too bad about it. And I picked up another edition of Ranxerox. This is the French edition of Ranxerox 2, Happy Birthday Lubna, which I've done a video for in one of my early videos. I got this for cheap. That's the only reason I bought it. And it's in really good condition. And Liberatore's Ranxerox is one of my favorite comics. Introduced to me in the pages Heavy Metal magazine. And Ranxerox is a robot made from the machine parts of Xerox machines. He's got a girlfriend, an adolescent girlfriend, who's hooked on drugs. And he's very jealous. Did not mess with his girlfriend. Wonderful stuff. Next, I found Morning Glories, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. I got these for $5 total. The artwork to this is not very enticing, but it was cheap, looked interesting, reminds me of my Catholic school days. There's something about the uniforms and my altar boy days. And finally, speaking of good Catholics, we have, it's kind of heavy, Daredevil. I've been enjoying very much the Netflix Season 2 of Daredevil. I've watched the first 6 episodes. I have in trade the majority of the Bendis and Brubaker run. I got about 11 of those trades at a used bookstore many years ago. I didn't know who Bendis was, or Brubaker. And the artwork, though, was interesting. And that's why I bought them. And so they just stayed on my shelf until one day I said, I think I was going to read these. And I liked them a lot. Now, last week when the Daredevil television show premiered, Season 2, I watched quite a few episodes, and I liked them a lot. And I just decided, I just want to get the singles. And I came across a good chunk of them. and I'll show them to you. And this is issue number 1. And then number 30, 31, 36, 37 with the beautiful Elektra. Fascinating character. Never get tired of Elektra. 38, 39, 40, 41. I think that the show has borrowed from both Miller and Bendis and Brubaker when it comes to the tone and just the feel of the series. It just has this this influence, I think. Number 42. Number 43. These are beautiful covers, I have to say. When these comics came out, I was not reading comics. I would sometimes visit comic stores. Sorry about that. Something came up there. And 45. But the artwork, again, looked interesting, but I wasn't buying comic books anymore. 47. 48. 49. 50. Matt Murdock and his love affairs are at best not good, at worst tragic. 56. 58. 57. 60. 59. 52. 61. Oh, the Black Widow. Ironically, the Black Widow is one of the few that's actually been able to survive emotionally and physically, having a relationship with Matt Murdock. 64. 63. I mean, given her name. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, Electro again, 78, 79, 80, Black Widow and Electra, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. Ah, what a wonderful cover there. 90, oh, in Paris. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, and annual number 1. And it's the 100th issue. It's one cover, second cover. Thanks for viewing. Happy reading.